Okay, here we go. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Welcome into our Zoom room. My name is Vicki. I am a librarian for King County Library System, and I am broadcasting tonight from our Newcastle Library. I am so pleased to bring you our program this evening. It is Create Your Word for 2022 with Tina Mitchell. And this program has been sponsored in partnership with Newcastle Arts Council, with City of Newcastle, as well as For Culture. I am so grateful to work with Newcastle Arts Council. They bring me the best presenters, and Tina is no exception this evening. So I'm very excited for her to share her expertise and experience with us this evening. I was chatting with her before we opened up the room, and I am so excited for this program. But before we begin, just a few little housekeeping tips. Everyone is muted. We'd like you to stay muted throughout the program. There will be an opportunity here and there. Tina will invite you to unmute yourself if you have anything to share, but during the bulk of the program, please keep yourself muted. And feel free to type your questions in chat. I'll be monitoring chat throughout the program. So if you have any pressing questions, I would be happy to see that and interrupt Tina if need be for clarification. And we'll have a little craft at the end of the program. So we anticipate this program will last just about 90 minutes. Tina's going to lead us through some exercises so we can really kind of tune into ourselves and come up with our word for 2022. And that's going to take about an hour. And then we have a craft program that is going to follow along after that, that you are welcome to join in with or watch or participate in. It'll be just a really relaxed opportunity for us to really get familiar with the word that we come up with this evening. And so once again, thanks to Newcastle Arts Council for bringing this program to us tonight. I'm going to post their contact information in chat in just a little bit here. They are a 501(c)(3), and we offer programs once a month with them, some hands-on crafts programs. So I'm going to post their email in chat, and you should reach out to them, get on their email listserv, and then you'll be familiar with all the programs that are upcoming with this group. And now I'll get on to introducing Tina. Tina Mitchell has been in the mortgage industry for over a quarter of a century and has been recognized in the top 1% nationwide. She's a radio personality and host of the Money Hour on 1150 AM KKNW. She is founder and owner of TM Media Agency, a keynote speaker, a coach on One Time Your Business, and she's the author of Journey with Me to Personal and Professional Success. She volunteers her time in the homeless community by sharing her own story of tragedy to triumph and her belief in the power of dreams. If you can dream it, you can do it. Tina's motto is live your dream now. Tina, thank you so much for being with us tonight. I'm looking forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Vicki, for the nice introduction, and thank you to Newcastle Arts Council for allowing me this opportunity. And of course, thank you to each of you that are here this evening and here to create your word for 2022. So welcome. And again, thank you for joining. So I'm excited to share with you tonight the power of having a word for the year. Your word is a reflection of your past and your intention for the future. So how the evening is going to unfold, Vicki shared a little bit. I'm going to start out tonight with an introduction on creating your word for 2022. Then we're going to go into preparation for creating your word. We're going to do a wrap up for 2021 and a start it for 2022. There'll be individual breakout for each one of the exercises. And Vicki talked about questions. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and open it up for any questions right before we start the exercise to make sure you understand it. So you'll see the ability to go ahead and raise your hand. Vicki will be monitoring that, and she'll actually take you off of mute if there's any questions. I want to make sure that you understand what the exercise is before we actually get into our individual breakouts. And then we'll go into the word exercise. There'll be an individual breakout for this as well. And as Vicki shared, we're going to wrap it up tonight with your word craft, and a share session. So it'll be a great time to do some crafting around your word. At the same time, share your key takeaways from this evening. And we will be wrapped up at 7:30. So do you have something to take notes? You want to make sure that you do, because you'll need your notebook for the exercises. So if you don't, go ahead and grab something so you're set up and ready to go, and can take down your notes for these individual exercises. All right, before we get started, I like to have control of anything that I absolutely can. And there is a way to take better control of how you individually view Zoom. So if you go up on the view, you click on view, most of the time it defaults on standard. That's actually the worst way for you to have control over how you view the slide deck and everybody that's here. You either want to have side-by-side speaker or side-by-side gallery. So either one of these gives you control. So side-by-side speaker, you'll just see me and my slide deck. Side-by-side gallery, you'll see everybody in the slide deck. But what's really cool when you're in one of these is you'll see a faint line on your monitor. And if you hold your left mouse click down and you drag it, this is what gives you control. You can slide the slide deck over so it's a lot smaller and you see more of the images, or vice versa if you want to see more of the slide deck. So you can kind of go in between depending on what you want to view at that particular time. So your life is like a road trip. When you travel, you use a map to get from one destination to another. But even with a map, you can take a wrong turn. Along the way, there are signs with life lessons, and the road you choose will determine your life direction and your life experience. Your life is a journey of discovery, a discovery of who you are and what you will contribute to this world. My hope for you tonight is that you come with me on a journey to discover your word for 2022. From my early years well into my adult life, I've had my fair share of tragedies. Get a better view over there. From playing my violin at Pike Place Market with my little sister to help our parents keep a roof over our head, to my dad's addictions and his attempted suicide when I was 12 years old, my own struggles with drugs and spending time in a mental health facility for troubled teens. My high school sweetheart and my first husband, Mike, was in prison for 5 years for an armed robbery and died of a drug overdose. My biggest tragedy was the death of our daughter, Amber. But through these tragedies, I was able to triumph. I believe that life throws us tragedies so we can share a story of triumph on the other side, but you must fight through your tragedies to make it to the other side. I am thankful for what I've learned, and you'll notice I come off of a slide deck because if I'm on a slide for too long, I'll come off of it. That way I have a chance to connect with you at a deeper level when you can see me and not have to stare at my slide deck. So I'm intentionally doing that. I'm thankful for what I've learned on my journey in life. Your word will give you hope for the year. Hope will show you what is possible. Possibility builds your confidence, and confidence will motivate you to do the hard work needed to reach your dreams. Now, before we get started on the exercises, I would like to share a poem with you. This poem was written by Channy Gorkin. He's 11th grader from Brooklyn, New York. Today is the absolute worst day ever, and do not try to convince me that there is something good in every day. Because when you take a closer look, this world is a pretty evil place. Even if some goodness does shine through once in a while, satisfaction and happiness do not last. And if it is not true that it is all in the mind and heart, because true happiness can only be obtained if surroundings are good, then it's not true that good exists. I am sure that you can agree that the reality creates my attitude. It is all beyond my control, and you will never in a million years hear me say that today is a good day. Now, when I read this poem, I thought this high school student was suicidal. But when you get down to the end of the poem, the instructions are really clear to read the poem again, but this time to read it from the bottom up. Today is a good day, and you will never in a million years hear me say that it is all beyond my control. My attitude creates the reality. I am sure you can agree it is not true that good exists only if one's surroundings are good. True happiness can be obtained because it is all in the mind and the heart. And if it is not true that satisfaction and happiness do not last, some goodness does shine through once in a while. Even if this world is a pretty evil place, because when you take a closer look, there is something good in every day. And do not try to convince me that today is the absolute worst day ever. Life hurts, but it's beautiful at the same time, is it not? How do you look at life? Be very careful, my friends, because how you see life, it will become your reality. And depending on someone else's space, it may become their reality as well. Your word will give you a new perspective for 2022. So our first exercise to prepare for the word exercise is to wrap up 2021 and to start up 2022. So what were your wins for 2022, personal or professional? What were your challenges in 2021, personal or professional? And what will you level up or release in 2022, personal or professional? So that's going to be the exercise. I'm going to get back to the slide so you'll be able to see that again. But before we do that, if you can go ahead and hit your reactions and raise your hand if you have any questions, and then Vicki will go ahead and take you off of mute so that I can answer that question before we get started on our first exercise. All good, Vicki?
Yeah, looking good. We're ready to go.
I'm such a good facilitator. All right, so here's our breakout session. So here's what we're working on again is what were your wins for 2021? What were your challenges for 2021? And what will you level up or release in 2022? So we'll go ahead and take a few minutes here. So write down as many wins that you can think of in 2021, and they don't have to be in great detail because you know what they are. You can probably write down a few words, and that'll describe it to you. And it's as important to recognize challenges as they exist, and if you don't recognize, acknowledge them, it's impossible to release them. So go ahead and make note of those. And then when it comes to leveling up or release, you may have a challenge that you really want to move forward with and see how you can level it up so you can turn it into a win next year. And you may have wins that you just don't have the manpower or the time, and you want to go ahead and release or put this on hold for 2022. And feel free during the breakout time, if a question does come up, just go ahead and raise your hand, or you can just come off of mute and ask it. Okay, we'll give it a couple more minutes. These exercises tonight are just to give you a taste of what this looks like, and then you can engage at a higher level. That way we're keeping it at 90 minutes tonight. So as many wins for 2021, as many challenges that you had, make note of those. Okay, we'll give it about another minute. And this exercise is going to prepare you as we get into some of the word exercises. Okay, go ahead and just start wrapping up your thoughts. Okay. So the word exercise, what would you like more of in 2022? What would you like less of in 2022? What inspires you, and as important, what motivates you to take action? Inspiration is warm and fuzzy. Motivation is conquer and power. And so it's important to have the inspiration side. That's more of the possibility and the dream and the creativity. And the motivation is where you're going to get down to work and you're going to do whatever it takes to make it happen. So that's why both of those are important. So let's go ahead and take a few minutes. Any questions before we get into the first part of the word exercise? I think we've got a small enough group here. If you have, Vicki, do they have control to remove themselves off of mute or no?
I had to double check that. Yeah, people can unmute themselves.
Okay, so come off of mute if you have any questions. And then again, when you're working on the exercise, if questions go ahead, come up, go ahead and come off of mute.
I had a question. When we're writing these down, should we just be thinking of words, or can we write like phrases, like ideas?
Yeah, thank you. We're not getting into the words yet. So this is all statements. What were your wins? What were your challenges? What do you want to, keep or release? And yeah, these are all statements. So thank you, Vicki. Okay, so again, for this part of the exercise in statement format, what would you like more of in 2022? What would you like less of in 2022? And again, this can be personal or professional. What inspires you and what motivates you to take action? So we'll go ahead and take a few minutes here. So what things really excited you last year that you just really want more of those? And what things took up energy that you want to have less of this year? And things that inspire you, probably things that have inspired you for years. Just recognizing writing it down so you're making a statement on that. And it's leading us up to when we're going to get into your word. And then, of course, again, and any questions, go ahead and come off of mute and just ask. Okay, so we'll work on this for about another minute. And I encourage, whenever you do writing exercises, if you take these exercises tonight and you level them up by continuing to write more, turn on some music, sit in a quiet space by yourself. This music really helps to draw out those thoughts. It's just fun to listen to music, right? Okay, so go ahead and start wrapping up your thoughts here. So now what I would like you to do is, going through this preparation, it'll make it easier for you to come up with words. So now I'm going to have you write down 10 words that come up for you, and try not to really put too much thought into it at all, because what we just did, it's helping to create the creativity of those words. They should come to you. So whatever the words, just write down as quickly as you can, 10 words. As quickly as they come to you, write down as many as you can, up to 10. Okay, now what I'd like you to do is go ahead and narrow down your top 5. Or the top half. If you only wrote down 8 words, then go ahead and come up with your top 4. So go ahead and break down what you wrote in half. And this process for me usually takes a little bit longer than coming up with the initial 10, because again, the 10, you're just writing as many words that come to you, because when you're going through a wrap up of what you've had for the year and thinking about 2022, it creates that space for the words just to come to you. So narrow down your top 5. Now from the top 5, I want you to circle the ones that you can commit to taking action on, that they connect with you. So if all 5 do, go ahead and circle all 5. If just 2 do, circle 2. go ahead and choose your top word. So you came up with 10, you narrowed down 5, circled the ones that you feel that you can take action on and connected with you, and then choose your top word. And if this is going by too quick for you tonight and you want to embrace it more, just do the exercise over and spend more time on it. Okay. So that's your word for 2022. So I would love to go around the room. And Vicki, do you want to just call out and then they can take themselves off of mute and then you can put yourself back on mute? I'd love to see in this short time that we had to work on a word, what you came up with. So Vicki, you want to go ahead and call names out?
And you can definitely pass if you do not want to say a word. I'll give you just a couple seconds to unmute yourself. And if you choose not to, no problem. I will move along.
Thank you for that disclosure, Vicki.
Of course. And so let's try Edward Flash.
Vicki, I knew you were going to pick me first.
Are we skipping?
I'll put myself on video too. So the word I picked was connections. So that's something for me to work on in 2020.
Beautiful. Jenny? Aya?
Hi there. I have top 2 now. One is a kind. The other one is calm.
Beautiful. Cheryl?
Good evening, everyone. My word, and you wouldn't understand without explanation, but it's just surrender.
Cheryl, that was my word too. I feel it.
You get me.
Janice? JC?
Calm, C-A-L-M.
Thank you. John? Carrie?
Trust.
That's good.
Did I unmute myself? Sorry. My word is me. I'm going to work on me this year.
Oh, beautiful.
I can't wait to hear where your word takes you this year, Carrie.
Virginia?
Challenge.
Did we hear from Terry? I know we heard from Carrie, but Terry?
Oh, I thought you said Terry.
Oh, Terry, thank you. Got my Carries and my Terrys.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
And I see SE Oct 18. And Miyoko. Oh, I don't even see Miyoko there. She's got her camera on. Did I miss anyone? If I missed anyone, please feel free to unmute yourself and share.
Okay.
Those were beautiful.
Well, thank you for those of you that shared. And sometimes, in this space, if you haven't come up with a word before, you might have not came up with one in this time frame, or it's something that you want to keep close to you and not share, which is great as well. But thank you for participating in that. All right, so now that you have come up with your word for the year, it's time to write your statement and to come up with your image. Because your word is going to guide you through the year. Your statement is really important because it's going to connect you to your word. And your image is important as well because it's going to keep you grounded. So I started coming up with a word in 2015. 2015 was my first year that I'd ever done a word exercise. And I would like to share my word statements and images. There's not enough time to share all of them going all the way up to 2022, but I do have enough time to share through 2020. And I want to share this because it's gonna help give you an idea of what the statement and the image and how does this all come together. So my first word in 2015 was dream. And the statement that I came up with, I always come up with a title for my statement. It's Live Your Dream Now. Well, that's my personal motto, and it has been since 2015. And here's the statement. I will embrace every second of my day, and through this process, I will live an extraordinary life. Ordinary moments will become extraordinary. Extraordinary moments will become my defining moments. And my image, this isn't the image that I'm going to encourage you to do, but when I did the word exercise, I went to something like this and they said, come up with your word. And then that was it. And then that night I leveled up and I wrote a statement, and then I thought, what about an image? And so I added that in there. Well, the image that I came up with is a Live Your Dream Now bracelet. So it's a little bracelet that says Live Your Dream Now. So that was what I came up with an image for my first year. Now I'm going to share at the end of my words how this year the image, the Live Your Dream Now bracelet, would inspire to be leveled up in 2020. So I'll share that with you. It was because of the impact of having that bracelet around my wrist in 2015. So my accomplishments in 2015, in April, I started my community work. All the way up until this time, all the way until 2015, I had done nothing in community work. I'd given money, but I'd spend no time. And I was given an opportunity. I was asked to present and share at the House of Hope, women that they're in transitional housing. It's the Mama's Hands Feeds the Homeless and the House of Hope Shelters the Homeless. And Leslie Hancock is the real estate agent in Windermere, Carrie, and her husband, Denny, started the organization 20 or 30 years ago. And I had a meeting with her and she said, hey, I would love for you to come in and talk with the women of how to be successful. Well, this would completely change everything for me. And I believe if not for my word guiding me for the year, this opportunity would have never presented itself, because I was in a space of watching for the surprises and turning my ordinary moments into extraordinary moments. And it was all through the exercise I'm taking you through tonight that I believe, while the first time in all of these years, I was inspired to give back to my community. Well, in May, I wrote a poem and I named it Dream. And then 1 year later, I actually had it produced into a song, and I would love to share my song, Dream.
I will not miss a moment. I listen, watch, and feel. The day is filled with miracles. closely to see all that life's meant to be. The beauty shines so bright as I smile through this journey called life. I open my eyes, then I open my heart. I feel the magic inside, and that's how I start. My life is now, every second of the day. I live my dream now. I sing, dance, and play. I live my dream now. I sing, dance, and play. My life is now, every second of the day. I live my dream now. I sing, dance, and play. I live my dream now. I sing, dance, and play. I'll make the difference I was meant to make. I'll leave the legacy I was meant to leave. I'll live my life and give to others. I will not waste this gift I was given. My life is now, every second, every day. I live my dream now. I live my dream now. My life is now, every second of the day. I live my dream now. I sing, dance, and play. I live my dream now. I sing, dance, and play. My life is now, every second of the day. I live my dream now. I sing, dance, and play. I live my dream now. I sing, dance, and play. I live my dream now. I live my dream now. I listen to how my body talks. It tells me how I feel. Goosebumps and tears of joy comes a light so bright. The warm and fuzzy feeling inside is when everything's so right. I sing, dance, and play. I sing, dance, and play. Live your dream now.
Now, I wish I could say that I was a singer, but I definitely was not. But I was in studio for everything. And at the end, the whisper, I love my dream now. That was me. That's as much as I participated. So the women at the House of Hope inspired me to share my story and to write my book, Journey with Me. I started writing my book in November of 2015, and it was published in October of 2016. 2016, my word was inspire. I will be an inspiration. I will be inspired so that I can inspire others. I wake up every morning watching for all the surprises waiting just for me. When I watch for them, they show up everywhere. And what an amazing day it will be. My image was a tulip. 2016, my accomplishments. February, I created my One-Time Your Business workshop, which then turned in quickly in October to my One-Time Your Business 8-week burn, which is a complimentary course on time management and business efficiency. The why behind it is to help people live the life that they deserve to live by running a high efficiency business model. 2017, my word was appreciation. My statement, I am happy. I am happy and I feel blessed for my life, my family, my career, and my community. I am happy and feel blessed for what life has taught me. My tragedies have led me to triumphs. My triumphs have led me to others. My image was a smiley face. The statement would create something magical for me next year in 2018. This year, my focus was not meant to be on creation or adding anything to my business platform. It was a time to appreciate my life and to spend quality time with my husband. Of course, I didn't know it at the time when I came up with my words. Usually I come up with my word in October or November of the previous year. This is what your word is all about. It prepares you for what's coming up. I don't know how, but it works. It has for me every single time. Because here's what my accomplishments were in 2017. no defining accomplishments at all. Now, of course, I worked and did things, but there was no major accomplishment that I could credit to my word, appreciation. However, my husband did catch our kitchen on fire in February. We lived in a hotel for 8 months. We went from our beautiful 4,100 square foot home to a small hotel suite with our dog. What a blessing this quality time was. Without my word for the year, I don't know if I would have ever came from a place of appreciation, and I would have missed a huge opportunity. 2018, my word was transformation. I turned 50 this year. So my statement, half of a century old. I am smarter, I'm wiser. I'm a survivor, I'm a warrior. I remember hearing when I was younger, with age comes wisdom. And now I understand what that means. My image was a butterfly. 2018 accomplishments. In January, I was asked to share my story, and I created my keynote, Tragedy to Triumph. And I did my first keynote for Now organization for their gala fundraiser. And that was March 1st. 2019, my word was trust. In preparing for 2019, I didn't know what I was meant to do. I had my mortgage business for over 24 years. At this time, I was a top producing mortgage professional, the top 1% in the entire nation. But now I was also doing coaching. I had a book. I was a keynote speaker. What was I meant to do? What direction am I supposed to go? And so I was having some really conflict in preparing for this year because I loved mortgages. I made substantial income. My mortgage practice, I've always has been a passion, and I didn't want to let it go. I felt overwhelmed and afraid that I was going to make the wrong decision. So that's why I came up with the word trust for 2019. So I hope that you can see from me sharing the importance of the exercises that we went through really quickly in preparation of your word, because these are the exact steps that will get you through this process the most efficient way. My statement, everything has a reason. There's a reason for every season. There's a reason for every market. There's a reason for everything in life. I will continue to ask the universe questions with trust, not wonder. My image for 2019 was a rope. My accomplishments. I didn't give up my mortgage career, thank goodness. And I continued to create more into my platform every single year since then. When I released and just trusted everything was going to come together as it was meant to be, it didn't. It released all of the stress behind the wonder if I was going to do the right thing. November, I created my Live Your Dream Now retreat, which is all based on personal mastery. I started sharing what I've learned over the years for myself and all the exercises I've created for myself. 2019, I committed to sharing this with others. And then 2020, remember again, I come up with my word in October of November of the previous year. My word was opportunity. I don't have time to share the struggles that I was going with my word, but what I always commit to myself is once I come up with a word, I can't go backwards. My statement, I can redo my statement and think about it, but once I come up with a word going through the preparation and the exercises I took you through tonight, I have to stick with that word. And I really wanted to change my word for the very first time. And thank goodness I didn't. And the goldfish, there's a story behind why the image is a fish. My statement is, I will seize the opportunity. I will watch for opportunities so not to miss them. Again, my image, goldfish. 2020 opportunity. I created TM Media Agency to help other business professionals do radio and podcast and share their messages online. And it was my biggest year in my mortgage career in the middle of a pandemic. So I needed to seize the opportunity instead of getting stuck in what was coming, a pandemic, all of the hatred in the world, all the politics, all of the noise out there. I needed to focus on my word, which was opportunity, to seize the opportunity so not to miss them. And I'm pretty confident if I had changed my word and came up with a different one, it would not have been the word that I was meant to have. And I would have missed opportunity and probably had some stress in 2020. Also a very special year. I was married for a quarter of a century in 2020. I had my mortgage software for a quarter of a century. My radio show was running for a decade. So lots of great milestones there. Now, also in 2020 is the year that I actually leveled up. Remember the Live Your Dream bracelet that I came up with for my image in 2015? Well, I decided to have it made into a charm. So I had a private jeweler put a charm together for me with Dream. And then I decided I'm going to do it every year, which is now my charm bracelet that has all of my images that are specially made just for me. Inspiration 2016, Appreciation 2017, Transformation 2018, Trust 2019, and of course, my little goldfish with its beautiful lips that was made for me for Opportunity in 2020. So your word, your statement, and your image, now that you have your word, it's time to come up with the statement and your image. So by sharing mine, are there any questions that come up for you before we break? And you have an opportunity. We'll spend a little bit more time on this for an opportunity to write your statement and to come up with an image. Any questions? Feel free to just go ahead and come off mute if you do. Okay. So remember again, your word guides you through the year. The statement connects you to your word. And the image, your image is going to keep you grounded throughout the year. So what words just really connect around your word? So what I do when I'm coming up with my statement is I just start writing everything that I can think of around my word. And then I read through it and pull things out. I read through it again, pull more out. And then I'll keep reading and pulling out until I can't pull anything else out. So that leaves me with a confident, powerful, and to the point statement. And usually I put a lot of thought. My word comes to me very easily through the exercises I took you through. The statement takes a little bit more time, and I usually spend quite a bit of time on my image. So we'll work on your statement and your image for about another 3 minutes. Okay, good. Start just wrapping up your comments. Okay. So that's what I do every year in embracing my word. So how do you level up your word for 2022? Your word will only lead to magical things this year if you embrace it. So if not, if you don't embrace it, you might not even remember what your word was at the end of the year. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand, but I just want you to think for if any of you came up with a word and then the next year you have no idea what it is. And that's because of not leveling up. You need to embrace it at the highest level throughout the entire year. Just like any other tool, it will only benefit you if you use it. You must use it or you will definitely lose it. Create as many senses around your word. Bring your word to the surface through your senses. Taste, smell, touch, hear or speak, and see. So taste, what food and drink will you embrace that reminds you of your word? For smell, how can you create smells that will help you embrace your word? Candles, wax smells, essential oils, indoor flowers, fresh air. Touch, what can you touch that embraces your words? Feathers, silk, velvet, fur, or maybe even a soft stuffed animal. What can you touch that will remind you of your word? Hear or speak, what can you listen to embrace your word? Music, nature, water sounds. And as important as what you hear is what do you speak? Every morning I write down my statement, or I write down a statement with a word in it, not the statement for the year, just a statement. And then I ask a question around that statement. Statements are closed-ended, but when you add a question, it's open-ended. Questions create curiosity, and curiosity brings creativity. The statement can be a goal statement. If your word is driven, good example of a goal statement. I'm driven to make 20 sales calls today, or whatever that goal is for the day. Or your statement this morning might be a gratitude statement. I love ... whatever you're grateful for. And that is why I'm driven. Or maybe it's an event statement. Driven by success, my event will be impactful today. Or maybe this morning when you wake up, what comes to you is a problem solution statement. Again, your word driven for this example. Driven by me, I will find a solution for ... whatever that problem is. Or maybe it's a conflict solution statement. I'm driven and will find a way to ... whatever that conflict is. Your statement will just come to you based on the space that you're in when you wake up that morning. And it's going to be unresolved if you don't make the statement and then come up with a question. The question is the really important part. Anytime that you make a statement, you need to ask a question around that, because that's what creates the curiosity, the creativity, the ideas around it. Now, another exercise that I do to speak my word is I write a love letter to myself at the beginning of the year in third person. Dear Tina, and then I'll write out everything that I desire from my year. Success, community, health, family. And I write the letter all the way out as if it's the end of the year and I've already accomplished all of it. So this is a one-time exercise that I do in the beginning of the year. And then what I do is I read it every night before I go to bed. And then finally, C, what will you look to assist you in embracing your word this year? I have an artist every year make a special art piece for me with my word, my image, and my statement. I don't provide any direction to him. I just tell him, here's my word, here's my image and my statement around my word. And then I let his creativity create it. And then of course, my charm bracelet. I can see it, I can touch it. So there's lots of senses with my charm bracelet. So I can embrace my word at the highest level. My word for 2022 is love. My image is a heart. Funny story that was inspired for this year, because every year I'm thinking about ways I can level this up so I can embrace my word at a higher level, because I see that every year that has done such magical things for me. I was in Zihuatanejo last month, and I was with a girlfriend at a little hole in the wall restaurant. And I went into the bathroom and there was toilet paper with hearts on it. I had to take a picture of it. My image for the year is a heart. And so it inspired me that now every time that I see a heart and it's an experience with significance, I'm going to take a picture of it. And this is going to be my collage at the end of the year with all of the hearts that showed up for me in 2022. All right. So before we get into our crafting and get you out of here on time at 7:30, I would like to make an offer, and I would like to make an ask tonight. Vicky's going to go ahead and put in the chat bar right now. If everybody can just go ahead and go to the chat and click on that link so that you have that up in your browser. My offer is, this is my events page. And I would love to offer you an opportunity to showcase your business, showcase your nonprofit organization, whatever that you want to showcase on my radio and podcast show. It's complimentary, and it's a great way to get your message out there. On the events page that Vicky put in the chat, there is a calendar, my online calendar, so you can just go ahead and reserve your spot. Also, I'd like to invite you to my complimentary 8-week course on time management and business efficiency. It's virtual. I'd love to spend a powerful 8 weeks with you. My why behind my course is to show you how you can live the life that you deserve by taking control of your time and your business efficiency. That's how I run multiple businesses, is because I run a high efficiency business model, and I give everything that I have to give during that 8 weeks. Also, I'd love to offer you a complimentary seat on my next Live Your Dream Now event, which is all on personal mastery. So my One Time Your Business is professional success. My Live Your Dream Now retreat is on personal mastery success. This will be a day of reflection on your past, present, and future. The day will be filled with laughter and most likely probably some tears. We spend more time in the exercises than we did with tonight. I've created exercises that will challenge you, however, will forever change your life. And my ask for you tonight, if you know any organizations that are looking for a dynamic keynote speaker, I would love to come and share my story of tragedy to triumph. Cheryl's here tonight. Cheryl, a big thank you to you for inviting me to your women's organization. I'm going to be sharing in person on stage, for real in person now. I'm so excited to get back to that in August. So thank you, Cheryl, for that. And it's really my passion. I don't have a community or a speaking engagement fee. It's my way to give back to the community. You'll see my keynote sheet, my speaker sheet on the events page that Vicki put in the chat. And if you go all the way down to the bottom of the events page, you can watch my keynote that I did for Liberty High School virtual keynote. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap up tonight with a little bit of crafting and share time. So I'll give you a few minutes if you don't have your crafts in front of you. In the registration and preparation for this evening, it was encouraged to get some paint and maybe a rock or a coffee cup or a canvas, anything that you can paint on, or maybe you're going to draw. And we'll just take the rest of the night for those of you that would like to stay around and work on your craft. It's to actually put your word as your art project. And then we'll open it up for share. So if anybody has any questions, or if anybody would like to share any takeaways that you've got from this evening, feel free to go ahead and come off mute and share.
And I think I'll stop the recording now as we go into this, give people a little more, that may feel vulnerable about sharing for posterity. So I'll stop the recording now. And I want to thank the Newcastle Arts Council for providing this program with Tina.